Hey, everybody. All over the United States, social justice warriors are targeting American citizens for wearing Make America Great Again hats. Their excuse? These hats are symbols of white supremacy. As a result, wearers of these hats have been verbally abused, assaulted, had their property vandalized, and have even been fired from their jobs. And the excuse? MAGA hat wearers are somehow bad and deserve whatever they get. Interestingly, these are the exact same arguments and tactics that were used throughout history by Democrat white supremacists, communists, and even Hitler's National Socialists to target anyone who disagreed with their bigoted ideologies. As we see from the hundreds of crimes committed against MAGA hat wearers, bigotry never changes. Bigotry is bigotry, regardless of who the bigot is. I've seen Asian bigots, female bigots, African American bigots, and most recently, Native American bigots. Bigots come from all walks of life, and the one thing they have in common is that they use their bigotry as justification for verbally harassing and physically assaulting those who disagree with their bigotry. While some, like Tim Pool, have called these actions discrimination based on political affiliation, this video will show how Tim's position, while well-intentioned, is completely misguided and ignorant. As you're about to see, while I completely agree with Tim Pool's view that targeting MAGA hat wearers is discrimination, I disagree that it's based on political affiliation. MAGA hat wearers are targeted because of what MAGA means: Make America Great Again. It's a symbol of, and a rallying cry to, American nationalism. And to communists rebranded as globalists, it's a symbol of resistance to their efforts to destroy American patriotism. With that in mind, let's dive in. We start with Nylon.com. MAGA teenagers show how white supremacy and misogyny fuel each other. Now, their evidence? A white male was wearing a Make America Great Again hat. Now, CNN reports why Trump's MAGA hats have become a potent symbol of racism. And then we move on to Deadline.com. Reporter fired for wearing Make America Great Again hat on the job. James Bunner, a TV reporter in southern Minnesota, decided to show his support for Donald Trump while wearing a Make America Great Again, and apparently the word they're missing is hat, while covering his rally in Rochester. As a result, he has been fired. Then we move on to the New York Post. Trump supporter fired for wearing MAGA hat, suit claims. So this person got fired and actually had a pair of balls that he actually owned and had a backbone that wasn't on layaway, and he decided to actually file a lawsuit. We're going to get into that a little bit more later, but that's important to remember, and it's something I want you to pay attention to. Then we move on to the Southern Poverty Law Center's targeting of Proud Boys. Now, as you can see, there's the Proud Boys right there. Now, again, I'm not taking a position on whether or not the Proud Boys are racist, but the thing that's interesting is they show pictures of the Make America Great Again hat. And interestingly, as we scroll down, you can see eventually, maybe at the very bottom, I don't know, we're still scrolling. This is like the scrolling scene of my video. A red MAGA hat is nearly as prominent at Proud Boys gatherings as their Fred Perry polos. And in fact, one of their first public outings was at a pro-Trump art show. Dun, dun, dun. Oh my God, racists went to our art show. Or, I'm sorry, alleged racists. But whatever, we're moving on. So then we move on to L&E Global. Let's talk about anti-discrimination in the United States, because really, that's what this MAGA hat represents, right? Everybody's saying this MAGA hat is somehow a symbol of white supremacy. But again, the only thing that's white about this hat is the lettering. And it's just because it's bright. It's red so everybody sees it with white lettering. And the racist message? Make America Great Again. Now, I want you to think about that for a moment, because we're going to get into a lot more detail about that very soon. Now, according to L&E Global, it is illegal under U.S. federal law to discriminate against an employee, either intentionally or through a disparate impact on account of his or her national origin. It is also illegal to harass an employee on account of these protected characteristics, or to retaliate against an employee because he or she complained about discrimination, filed a charge of discrimination, or participated in an employment discrimination investigation or lawsuit. Most employers with at least 15 employees are covered by this body of federal law, as are most labor unions and employment agencies. And then we move on to the Department of Justice. This is the Department of Justice's website. I've talked about this in prior videos before, and because of the amount of systemic discrimination happening across the United States, this particular website is the gift that keeps on giving. Okay, federal protections against national origin discrimination. Federal laws prohibit discrimination based on a person's national origin, race, color, religion, sex. Laws prohibiting national origin discrimination make it illegal to discriminate because of a person's birthplace, ancestry, culture, or language. This means people cannot be denied equal opportunity because they or their family are from another country, because they have a name or an accent associated with a national origin group, because they participate in certain customs associated with a national origin group, or because they are married to or associate with people of a certain national origin. The Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division is concerned that national origin discrimination may go unreported in the United States because victims of discrimination do not know their legal rights, or they may be afraid to complain to the government. The Civil Rights Division has established a national origin working group to help citizens better understand and exercise their legal rights. Then we're going to jump from here because, again, this is the Civil Rights Division of the United States Department of Justice. Now, according to federal law, specifically U.S. Code 18, subsection 249 under hate crime acts, whoever, whether or not acting under color of law, willfully causes bodily injury to any person or through the use of fire, a firearm, or a dangerous weapon, or an explosive or incendiary device, attempts to cause bodily injury to any person because of the actual or perceived race, color, religion, or national origin of any person shall be imprisoned not more than 10 years, fined in accordance with this title, or both. Okay? So discriminating against people on the basis of national origin is a federal crime. And my guess is that it is a state crime in every state in the United States. So what does that mean? That means that specifically, if American nationalists protest or they hold a patriot prayer rally and they are assaulted by law enforcement has committed a hate crime under federal law. If they are assaulted by Antifa, they are victims of hate crime under federal law because they are being discriminated against on basis of their national origin. And they are being targeted for wearing hats that say, and I quote, "Make America Great Again." It doesn't say any kind of racist message. It doesn't say any kind of discriminatory message. It says very clearly, "Make America Great Again." And that is terrifying to every un-American bigot in the world. Because at one time, the United States was not only respected, it was the most powerful country in the world. Now, it's still extremely powerful, but it doesn't have the respect that it once commanded because we've had generations of bigots attacking American patriotism. Now, if you have been fired from a job because of your American patriotism or because you wore a MAGA hat, you would probably have been discriminated against on the basis of national origin. And according to Cutting Edge Recruiting Solutions, the average employee lawsuit costs the company $250,000. All right? Employee lawsuits are expensive. The average out-of-court settlement is about $40,000. In addition, 10% of wrongful termination and discrimination cases result in a $1 million settlement. The majority of cases, about 67%, are ruled in the plaintiff's favor when taken to litigation. So what's that mean? That means that if you lose your job based on national origin discrimination because you wore a MAGA hat, because you're a member of the Proud Boys, because you are an American nationalist, because you attended a patriot prayer event, because you are an American nationalist, you can sue your employer, okay? And if that lawsuit goes to trial, there is a 67% chance you will win, and there is a possibility that the jury will award you in $1 million or more. So I want you to think about that for a second, because that is an extremely powerful tool. So as you can see, targeting Make America Great Again hat wearers is not only discrimination, it's unlawful discrimination on the basis of national origin and a violation of U.S. federal law. And if a person gets verbally harassed, physically assaulted, or threatened with physical assault, or is the victim of any other crime because they were wearing a Make America Great Again hat as an American nationalist, they are victims of both national origin discrimination and possibly a hate crime. Further, if the person targeted loses their job or their business dealings are improperly targeted, let's say through social media like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or elsewhere, this could also be a violation of federal civil rights law and is unlawful discrimination based on national origin. And, at least in the case of wrongful termination, the American nationalist can sue his persecutors in federal court for his discrimination. I also believe that when social media platforms ban, demonetize, or remove posts or target their users and content creators for terms of service violations based on these platforms' ideological disagreement with American nationalism and the constitutionally protected American right to free speech under the pretense of hate speech, which, by the way, is not recognized under United States law. This is also national origin discrimination, and every platform that does this, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, etc., should be sued into the Stone Ages for unlawful civil rights discrimination as a result. Discrimination against American nationalists for their American patriotism not only is unlawful, in many cases, it's a hate crime. As you can see, the left's discrimination of American nationalists on the basis of national origin is the civil rights fight of our generation and possibly the fight of our lifetime. Leftist bigots are targeting Americans because of their American heritage and their support of the American way of life. And as the old saying goes, all evil people need to succeed is for good people to stand by and do nothing. Everyone who discriminates against American nationalists is on the left, and every one of them pretends to stand for civil rights. By calling these bigots out for their national origin discrimination, we put their indefensible hypocrisy on public display. American nationalists need to start suing companies for violation of their civil rights based on national origin discrimination. Every company in the United States has anti-discrimination policies. American nationalists need to start boycotting companies that fund national origin discrimination against American nationalists. It doesn't matter if these bigots are tech companies, news outlets, colleges. Sue them all in federal court. American nationalists need to start pressuring companies, schools, colleges, and government agencies to fire employees who discriminate against American nationalists based on national origin discrimination. And anyone or any organization that refuses to stop discriminating against American nationalists on the basis of national origin needs to be sued into the Stone Ages. Everyone who publicly discriminates against American nationalists needs to be publicly shamed, boycotted, and otherwise excoriated for their bigotry. The sooner that American nationalists stand up to these leftist bigots and put a stop to their civil rights discrimination, the sooner we'll make America great again. I'm DDJ, and this warning about national origin discrimination is your dose of misandry today.